Today we are reviewing the top dog of Lexus luxury sports sedans. Behind us we have the Lexus IS 500 F Sport Edition. This F Sport does boast a V8 that pushes out 472 horsepower, and we want to see how it compares with the BMW M3 and the Mercedes-Benz C63. Does this Lexus have what it takes to stand up to the competition? Let's find out. Starting off in the front of this Lexus IS 500 F Sport Edition, wrapped in the incognito paint job, you're greeted by this wide spindle grille. You know, I mean, they've been using this style for many years. It's really big, not very sporty, but a lot of people seem to like it. Over on the headlights, though, you do have this diffuser that runs all the way through, as well as 3 LED headlights and an LED turn signal. LEDs everywhere. Also above the large Lexus emblem, you do have your front camera. Moving along to the side of the IS 500, of course, because this is the F Sport series, you have an F Sport badge right here so that when you're stopped by anybody, they know exactly what you're driving. And then you've got these nice blacked out 19-inch dual spoke wheels wrapped in summer sports tires. And of course, because this is the F Sport, you have large performance brakes with the blacked out Lexus calipers. Looks clean, like it. Moving along a little bit further towards the rear, the side view mirrors are just blacked out with a turn signal indicator, and then on the bottom you do have a camera for your driver's assistance, which you can also see on the heated mirror with the little light up logo. And because this is the F Sport, you do have a little bit of a performance package going on here with the lower skirt. Looks nice, gives it that little sporty feel, low to the ground. Moving along to the rear of the IS 500, you do have a nice blacked out spoiler. Looks good, gives it that sporty vibe. Of course, a large Lexus emblem, as well as IS 500. Surprisingly, there is no F Sport badging on the rear, but what you do have is Lexus's signature exhaust system. Looks real clean, only half the amount of tips as you have pistons, but man, does it roar. One thing you'll notice when you're looking at the IS 500 from the back view, that it does have these wide protruding hips in the rear. I think it looks really clean, gives it a little bit more of a vibe, right? Let's move on to the interior of the Lexus. Man, that's a lot of red. On the bottom here, you do have a little bit of red leather, but a lot of red plastic. No big deal. You know, you've got some texture going on here. Red speaker grille that is actually aluminum. And then this is also aluminum here. And this is just painted plastic. But you do have 3 memory seat functions. This is for your side view mirror controls, unlock lock, window lock, and one-touch operation for all windows, thankfully. Along the bottom of the door, you do have some more F Sport badging. Looks really clean. I love the styling of it. To the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you do have one of those nice circular air vents. I love these because they allow you to direct the air in a better way than you would normally. And then, of course, your odometer button, your digital gauge cluster brightness, your auto headlights, your camera view. You also have a rear shade on this IS 500 in your rear window, and also an active sound control dials so that you can make it sound even louder and meaner when you're in the cabin of the car. Below there, you got your trunk button and your hood release. All very standard, other than the active sound control on a V8. Beats me. Moving along to the seats of the IS 500, they are faux leather, but man, they feel just like the real thing. And you know, it's got a little bit of design with the perforation going on and a little bit of stitching, but it's just all red. But you do have 12-way power seat control, so you know, that's nice. And also, these seats are both heated and ventilated, so on a hot day you can cool down, and in those cold winter months you can warm up. Now, one thing that I've always loved about Lexuses, and this dates back to even my 06 and all the other Lexuses we've reviewed, but you have the power oscillating steering wheel control. Absolutely fantastic. And this beautiful F Sport steering wheel. Now, the steering wheel is relatively standard, but you know, I love the black leather with the perforations on the side and the red stitching throughout, and then of course another F Sport badge at the bottom. For the buttons, you know, it's relatively standard. On the left-hand side, you've got your multimedia controls, your pickup, answer call, voice assistant. On the right-hand side is more of your driver functions and how you navigate menus. To the bottom right of the steering wheel, you do have your cruise control. That's how you manage that. You got a couple paddle shifters because this is a F Sport series, so if you want to put it in manual and bang some gears out, you're more than welcome to. Now, also to the right of your steering wheel is where your electronic parking brake is, and then above that you have your engine start stop. One of the places that you actually do have leather is above your steering wheel for whatever reason. It's very plush, very soft, but everything else on the dash here is plastic, soft mold plastic. But you do get some red stitching going throughout, and like I mentioned, that other circular air vent. Behind the steering wheel, you do have a digital gauge cluster, about 5.6 inches, and it's separated with this circle in the middle. It actually looks really good when you've got it going on, and especially when you're in sport mode. It gets this nice red stylization going on. But in the center here, you do have a 12.3 infotainment center. The infotainment center is an option. You can opt for a 5.6 inch or this one. Below that, you do have two more air vents, a analog clock for those of you that prefer that. And then below that, lots of buttons. I love buttons. I want to be driving and I want to push buttons, not screens. So you've got actual touch sliders for your dual zone climate control, your auto air, your fan speed, directions, you know, front defrost, rear defrost, mirror defrost, you know, all very standard here. And then you got your hazards, volume knob, track tune knob, and a CD player in a 2024. And then, like I mentioned, both the front driver and the front passenger do have both heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel, and then, you know, the shifting knob is actually pretty nice. You've got the black boot with the red stitching. Looks good, a little bit of stylization. And then you've got a knob for your sport mode or your normal eco mode. And it also has a custom mode that you can set up how you see fit. Snow, traction control, and your auto hold button. You know, this is somewhat a controversial thing for me because I've never been a fan of it, so you'll have to let me know in the comments how you feel about it. But this 2024 is equipped with one of the touchpads. I will say though that this touchpad operates better than most other touchpads I have experienced in a car, so it at least wins there. But you've got a button to go straight to your map, to your menu, go back, and then the touchpad with the Lexus on it. In your center console here, it's not very big, but you can store some things in there, and it's kind of got that like suede going on in here. You got two USB type A ports, an aux jack, and a 12-volt outlet in your cigarette jack style. What is confusing is there's no type C port. Come on, Lexus, get it together. Now above the center console, of course, you got your rear view mirror with 3 home link buttons and a dimming function. You got a couple lights here, and they're just touch operated. You just touch where the light is and they come on and turn off. This one is equipped with a sunroof, which is an option on the IS. So not all of them come with one, but you can opt for one, and if I was buying one, I'm definitely getting one. So you got your buttons here to open and close it, and your door light button and an SOS button. Also, like we found in the Sequoia that we recently reviewed, this IS 500 is equipped with a built-in integrated dash cam. You can put a memory card in here, pull it out, upload it, or you can access the dash cam footage from your smartphone. Love that. All right, now moving on to the rear of the IS 500. You know, it's not built for big men like Steve, but you know, I'm 5'9" or so I fit back here a little bit better, but it is all covered in this red faux leather. But you got a couple vents here for your rear passengers, a couple kangaroo pouches on both sides, and then on the doors here, you have actually 2 speakers. So you've got your 6-inch driver on the bottom and your tweeter up here at the top, and you still carry over that nice aluminum design from the front. So they didn't cheap out in the back, at least. And then in the center here, you do have a cup holder, pops out of the armrest. I could be comfortable back here, at least for a while, but you know, at some point here, we'll have to shove Steve in and see how he fares. In the rear above your head, you do have a couple more dome lights. Those ones are not touch operated, they're button operated. No problem there. All right, now we got Uncle Steve going into the back. This seat is, the front driver's seat is currently in my sitting position, and you'll tell that it's not too great for Steve. Now, you know, I know this story all too well. When you buy a Lexus, you're buying premium, you're buying luxury, and I drive a V8 Lexus that also takes premium fuel. So you're gonna feel that in the pocket here. And remember, when you're closing these gas caps, make sure they click, otherwise you'll throw an engine code. Now, if you ever get stuck in the trunk, there is a glow-in-the-dark release right here so that you can easily get out. But as you can tell, this trunk has plenty of room. Even I can fit back there. And it's actually quite nice. Underneath the bottom here, you do have a spare tire. How often do you see that in 2024? With some neon tools and a gold rim. Also, if you purchase this vehicle brand new, you might get a first aid kit. I've heard sometimes people don't actually get it. Did you get yours when you bought a new vehicle? Also, another place that has F-Sport branding. When you open up the trunk, underneath that panel, you can see a little bit more F-Sport. Now, if you are in a situation where you have to store a little bit more stuff back there, you can open that up. Maybe you'll fit some skis and things like that, snowboard, whatever, but you do not get a flat floor. There's a large, probably 8 to 10 inch ledge there. So if you need something long and flat, hopefully it's skinny. All right, now I'm behind the wheel of this Lexus IS 500 F Sport Edition. And the first thing I'm gonna tell you is it feels like a Lexus. Always a pleasure to drive. You know, the ride is so smooth. The cabin is luxurious. The wind noise is minimal. Road noise, minimal. You know, they're just always a pleasure to drive, and this one is absolutely no different. It might not be the quickest sports sedan of the bunch, but it offers a fantastic ride nonetheless. The steering wheel is comfortable. It's not too skinny, it's not too fat. You know, it could be a little bit fatter, honestly, but it's still a pleasure to hold on to at least. As far as visibility goes, hey, I can't complain at all. Even with Uncle Steve's 7-foot self, I could see everywhere. I do love sports sedans because, you know, as much as I like being high up and, you know, kind of getting a better view of everything going on around me, I also like being down low to the ground, really feeling the car stick to the road, and, you know, you can take turns at faster speeds. You can, I don't know, they're just a joy to drive. And although this might not be the zippiest one, it is the pinnacle of Lexus's IS series. Like I mentioned, 472 horsepower is absolutely a ton. As far as comfort goes, you know, the seats are very comfortable. The faux leather does a great job at being nice and soft to the touch. The side bolsters are also, like, they just grip you just enough. They're not too tight, and I can tell that they're there still. So the seats are extremely comfortable, especially with how adjustable they are. No complaints whatsoever there. All right, now let's do our 0 to 60 test. We've got our race box set up. We're in Sport Plus mode, and we've got the V8 ready to roar. So let's see how she does. 5.35 seconds for the 60 mile per hour. We got to 30 in just 2.47 seconds. This is a zippy little car. Like I mentioned, it's not the fastest of the bunch, but it'll get the job done. You'll have fun going around town, and ultimately that's what really matters. But man, did you hear that exhaust when I floored it? It sounds so good. It just does. And when you floor it, you can feel the car shake a bit, because I mean, this is a small car to pack a V8 into. Now, as great as this IS 500 F Sport is, you know, I do actually have some complaints. The infotainment center, for example, it just doesn't strike 2024 luxury to me at all. You know, the screen's not all that great. I'm not a fan of the touchpad either. The map looks dated. It is nice that you have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. You know, at least you have that, but I'm not very big on it. You know, it's also pointed directly straight instead of being ever so slightly tilted my way. That would be so helpful. Aside from that, I'm also not very big on how they stylize the interior of this either. I'm a fan of red, and I like contrast, so black and red goes absolutely phenomenal together, but I'm not a fan of how they did it. And so much plastic. Almost everything is plastic. You know, just, I guess, do better, Lexus. Like, there's more leather in my 06 than there is in this 2024. And then another big complaint I have, there's very minimal storage in this car. So if you're going on a trip or anything like that, you're gonna have a hard time. But not only that, there's no wireless charger, there's no Type-C, USB ports, and then there's also nowhere to put your phone either. All you have is the cup holder. So the only place to put your phone would be in the center console, I guess, or the door, but I don't know. Who wants to do that? I mean, granted, you really shouldn't be using your phone while you're driving anyway, so keep it in your pocket. You don't need it. All right, now that you've heard from me about my opinion and how I feel about the IS 500, let's get Steve in the driver's seat so he can talk about the powertrain and how he feels about it.
Now, Uncle Steve talk about powertrain. Well, for Lexus IS series, they put the IS 500 outside of IS series category. So that means Lexus really want to make this car or powertrain special. So only for IS 500 F Sport. For other IS series, they offer 2.0 turbocharged four-cylinder engines and the 3.5 V6. Wow, today we're gonna focus on this IS 500. This IS 500 has a 5.0 liter V8 producing 472 horsepower and 395 foot-pound of torque. 0 to 60 is 4.4. However, we did 5.3?
Yeah.
Yeah, with my big heavy butt.
I don't know, Steve. I wouldn't put it all on you.
It's probably my height, 7'4". Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
For the mile per gallon, actually it's not bad. Combined is 20 mile per gallon. So with me, probably like 19 or 18.
But that doesn't stop the fact that you still got to put premium in it.
For the transmission, this is an 8-speed automatic, and they don't offer manual transmission. Even for the first gen, ISF. They replace ISF with the IS 500, which is I really don't like the most, you know. I like they call it ISF, especially this is a really special vehicle for Lexus. And kind of, this is a disappointment for them to just replace it. It just make them like so regular, so normal. And for the drivetrain, it's just only rear-wheel drive. It's not four-wheel drive, unlike the rest of the IS series. They offer all-wheel drive is optional, and also they offer 6-speed manual transmission for optional. So overall, how I feel about this car, in my opinion, actually is too simple for 2024. I don't know what you think. I just think for 2024 should be has at least a wireless charger.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree because this is, first off, it's a Lexus and it's over $60,000 and it's a 2024. And you know, as nice as everything is, it's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think I have the USB port in the back.
Yeah, nothing. Your passengers are screwed. And then only USB type A ports? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, it's super outdated, right?
Right, I don't even have a USB type A charger for my phone. Also, something else I noticed that's kind of interesting. Even if you do plug something into here, there's no routing for your wires.
Oh damn, it's supposed to hang around and just like...
You've got to slam it on in and sooner or later you're gonna cut that cord.
Damn.
So
it's not cheap, dude.
Right, so cut the cord entirely and instead of a CD player, give me a wireless charging cord.
Yeah, and this car's supposed to be like marketed as a performance car and doesn't have any like performance like customization that you can do. Not too many. Unlike the Mustang, you can almost fully customize your vehicle, you know.
Yeah, all you get to tune is the suspension, braking, and engine power.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's just not...
The fake engine sounds, right?
Yeah, and the fake engine sounds. And, you know, like you mentioned with the Mustang, the Circuit Edition, the Corolla, the Ioniq 5, they all have like track apps and things like that to track like, you know, 0 to 60 speed or circuit laps or whatever it may be. This has nothing.
Another reason I think it's outdated because the first generation back in 2007, 2008, the first IS that they will introduce is they using pretty much the same engine, V8 5.0, and back then it has 417 horsepower. And almost 20 years later, it's only gains like what? Like 60 horsepower. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That is pretty ridiculous.
I'm looking for at least over 500, even 501 horsepower. And I think people will be like appreciate, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the handling is amazing, you know, like, and the acceleration is okay, you know. Like I said, need a little bit more horsepower for the today's standard.
I will say, as good as it sounds, we recently reviewed a Jeep Wrangler 392 Final Edition, and that sounds loads better.
Yeah.
Now, talking about choosing something over something, would you rather this, or would you go get an M3 or the C63, or, you know, how are you leaning? How do you feel?
Well, it depends the price. How much is this one cost?
Out the door, this one is going to cost you $68,000, and that is for the F Sport Performance Package. So,
yeah, and the M3 and the CA63 probably 5 to 10 grand more, right?
Yeah, but one thing I will tell you is I almost guarantee you the Mercedes is nicer on the inside.
Yeah, actually, I would, if I have the money, I would choose the Mercedes. Or the BMW. The BMW always nice to drive. The handling is always, I think, is better than Mercedes. So I would choose the BMW M3 4 doors over this. It doesn't have to be a competition package.
Right.
Just normal M3 would be still better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just too simple. I like simple, but it's too simple for 2024.
Yeah, especially if you're buying a luxury vehicle. Keep bringing that back up, but Lexus is supposed to be luxury, and I just feel like you're not getting luxury really in here. So, in conclusion, what do we think of this 2024 Lexus IS 500 F Sport Edition? It's a nice car, it's a good drive, but I do think in the segment there are better options. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just like I said, mentioned this is my probably third time. It's just too simple for 2024. To be honest, I feel like a double X. I mean, the feature, all this stuff. But you're paying 60 grand, for the horsepower, you're getting almost 200 more horsepower than double X, but you're also paying 20,000 more.
Right, yeah. I do tend to agree. So what I would suggest is, if you are interested in this IS 500 F Sport, that you go check one out, see what you think. Do you think it's too simple? And then what you should do is come back to the comments, let us know what you think, smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.